Okay, now I'm ready for the rebuild. I'm going to use all the same O-rings and seals because they're not cracked up, and they're actually hard to find now and really expensive because this is all just a discontinued bike pretty much. The parts for it, they're tough to find. Like the bowl gaskets, none of them are cracked, thankfully. They're a little squished, but that's fine. I just took a little bit of PB Blaster and I put it on my fingers. I just ran around and just got it a little bit wet, and I let them sit for a couple of days, and it makes them a little more pliable, and it swells them up just a hair, and they're going to be just fine. They're gonna work. Another thing you want to do, you got these pilot jets right here. Normally you can see through them, but whether you can or not, usually there's a little bit of crust in there, and most of the time I use a tip file. I just start out with the smallest one and poke them with a tip file and then work my way up. But I don't poke it into the file part, because if you poke it into the file part, obviously you're going to make the hole bigger, and you don't want to do that. But these pilots are actually too small, so they don't go in the hole. So instead of using a tip file, I got a piece of copper wire, a strand of copper wire. I even got mini drill bits, and the smallest one was way too big. So yeah, I just poke it in there, and sometimes it's a good idea to kind of just put a couple little bends in it, you know, kind of make it so it's not perfectly straight. And just get it in the hole and kind of work it to try to clean the hole out, because you might not even see it, you know. I mean, it's such a little bit, but you will get stuff come out of that hole, and every little bit makes a big difference when it comes to your idle quality and stuff. So yeah, you can feel it hitting on the inside of there, and you just kind of work it just a little bit, and if there's any little bit of crust in there, it's going to clean it out. And that's how you take care of them pilots. And then these jets, all I could find for this, I needed to get an air filter for it, and all I could find was a Keihin. Generally these run a little lean anyways, but there's a 105 in the front and a 108 in the rear. The rear jets, the rear main jets, are always a little bit bigger, and the reason why is because it's hotter. And whenever you use an aftermarket filter like that, some people just do it anyways because they run just a hair lean. Yeah, if you just do a filter change, you should step these up 2 jet sizes. So what I'm going to do is the 108s that are in the rear, I'm going to put in the front carbs, and I bought 2 110s. So yeah, I only needed 2 jets to upsize this. So there it is. I'm going to start assembling this thing. First thing I want to do is just, yeah, I got these clean enough, I guess. Screw this in here. It don't need to be too tight, just a little bit. And actually, I'm going to take this out. I got a screwdriver. I actually made this screwdriver for carburetors. It's the smallest snappy in my set, but I grind down the sides just a little bit so I can get in the air-fuel mixture holes, because in some jets on small engines and motorcycles, you can't get it in there unless you grind down the sides of the thing. But yeah, I got to get this jet out of here next, because I'm going to step this up with a different one. This is the 105. Sometimes you need a magnifying glass just to look at these things. Yeah, it says 105 on it. I don't know. Probably can't even see it. There's no way. So yeah, actually, this tube I'm not even going to use because I'm going to end up putting this in the rear. So I got the whole tube from one of the rears, and this is a 108. Yeah, 108. I'm just going to poke this one. Make sure it's, yeah, like I say, you don't want to run them into the file part. See, this one just barely fits. I actually just cleaned out the hole. It was just a little bit filth. This one shouldn't fit at all. Nope, it doesn't. You'd be amazed how much of a difference a little bit of filth makes in these jets. It's nice and clean now, so I can blow it out. You know, just a little bit of junk in there is equivalent of stepping it down, you know, as many as 4 or 5 jet sizes. So you can get it to run really lean if you don't clean them out. You can put them in carburetor cleaner all day long, and that's not going to get them clean. And you got to push that stuff out of there. And I got this pilot I cleaned out. Put that back in. And these seats too, you want to make sure those are nice and clean way down in there in the seat. I just use a Q-tip for those. Just stick it in there and turn it. Really, that's all you need to do. And I can look in there, and you'll see a nice shiny seat for the needle. And yeah, you got a little seal right here. Put that on. I believe this is a 10 millimeter. They usually always are. Get that seated in there nice. Then you got your float. Make sure there's no water in it or no gas. Sometimes these crack and they'll get gasoline inside of them. And I can shake it too and I don't hear anything in it. And this needle, if you want, I like using rubber gloves because it kind of sticks to the rubber. You just rub it a little bit. Some of these are metal, some are rubber. Put that on there like that. Drop that in, put the pin in. It's stuck. Okay, all the numbers I'm getting is 7 millimeter. Some people say 9.8, but 7 would be more because the float would be down in here more, so there'd be more fuel on it. Basically, you don't want fuel to get past this line because this gasket, it really doesn't even need to seal anything if that's the case, because if the gas is always below, the only time it'll leak is when you hit a corner really good or something. So you generally want the level to be below this line. And when I measure this, see this float is actually spring loaded, or I mean the needle's spring loaded. So you want it so it just touches. See, if I even put it upside down, the weight of this float will crush a little bit of that spring in the needle. So you want to unload it and then load it, and just so it barely touches, that's where you want it. And when I measure it, I get about 9 millimeters. I don't know if you can see that or not. So what I want to do, I want to bend this tab just a little bit so I can drop that. It doesn't take much either. It's such a little bit you barely even feel it bend most of the time. Well, that's about 7 millimeters actually. And a lot of people say that's the golden number, 7 millimeter. I marked all this stuff too, the bowl and the carburetor and the top. Yep, there's just a little bit of a gap there, so that PB blaster, it swelled it up just a hair. Yeah, I can feel that O-ring crushing, which is great, because it was completely squished when I took it apart, and it was a little hard. You want to make sure that needle's clean, and it is. Feels really good. I don't have to step this up any or mess with that at all. if I put pod filters in a 4-in-1 exhaust, a lot of times you got to step that up a notch, but I don't have to. So yeah, you want to put it in that hole. That insert too, it comes out. I didn't take it out though. This right here, I left that in. You can pound them out and put them in, but if they want to stay in, I just leave them in. Clean them that way. Put the spring in the hole. There's a little dimple right here. That dimple's got to match up with this. Some people put lubricant on these slides too. I don't understand why. And if you really want to make sure it works like it's supposed to, you can spray a little air in here. Then you know the diaphragm's not ripped and it's sealing really good. Now I got this diaphragm. I didn't put any blaster on this at all. Yeah, this is spring loaded too. There's a little spring in here. You want to make sure that works. There's a little O-ring here. The spring thing. You want to push this all the way down. Make sure it goes all the way down before you start forcing screws in it. Air fuel mixture screw. Got a rubber glove here, and yeah, I just take my fingernail and make sure that thing's clean, just the needle. Yeah, you got a spring and then a washer and then an O-ring. Make sure all that's in there. Stick it in the hole. Okay, after this is turned in all the way, 2.5. That's a good start. That's one carb all put together. Something's wrong with this one. I gotta take it apart. Yeah, see? The seal got tucked on the inside. I'm going to try to stretch this out a little more. Now when you're assembling this too, if you don't actually have actual air pressure, you know, an air compressor, you can just blow into this hole too. Freaking Jack in the Box, man. Oh my gosh. Still ain't right. I don't want to pull on this too much because I don't want to tear it. If I tear it, I'll be screwed. I'm going to try this before I screw it together. Yeah, I think it's right, and it's not. There, I got it. Okay, now I'm going to try to put this puzzle together. I think it goes like that somehow. Maybe. Now what you want to do is you want to look at these butterflies. You want to make sure that when you screw in your idle, when you screw it down, you want to make sure that all of these close at the same time. And the way you do that is you shine a flashlight through here. See that light right there? So I want to keep turning it down until they're all the way closed. That one just closed. And I want to check them all. This one right here is open just a hair. So I want to turn this screw down a little bit until the daylight goes away. And I'm going the wrong way. That's just right. So yeah, you want to check this one first, because this is the one, this is the main guy. So I can close it all the way. I'm going to check this again. I'm going to open it just a hair, just so I can barely see some light through there. See how that is? And I'll make sure they're all the same. They're just where I want them. It's just right. And just for idle's sake, I want to idle this up. So I'm going to turn this up quite a bit, about like that. Okay. That's it. Now I can slap this on the bike.